today's video might be something on the lines of sailing. This might interest people who are willing to do it, and if you are, then you're lucky, because I'm going to explain to you what it's like to do it for the first time. People seem to forget sometimes that a sailboat is essentially the same weight and dimensions of a car. It's just as big, it's the same weight, and as you could say, it's probably around the same price as well. Now, I first did my first sailing lesson round at my local resi early this year. I was planning on doing a video about it sooner, but yeah, I haven't really got round to do that yet. The water suit which you put on, I never knew would be as difficult as it was the first time round. So you have to actually pull it on, throw up your legs, while getting it stuck, and probably get stuck halfway going up your leg. At the same time, you've got to find a way to stretch it and zip it up around your back, which is extremely awkward, especially if there is no one round to help you, which in my case there wasn't anyone round to help me. Anyway, we got the sailboat into the water, and my first lesson, let's just say, our first part of the lesson was to learn the ropes. But you don't call them ropes, because there are tens and hundreds of them. There's lots of them, so they all have their individual colours and they all have their own names, which would take a fair while to learn them all, in this case. I was told them, but I would say a good hour afterwards I forgot most of them. Anyway, basically the instructor showed me what it's like to sail, and it felt extremely pleasing once you're in the water and once you're going away. But then what was even more scary was that he actually got me a chance to drive it, which was not very far into the lesson. When he told me you can get hold of the helm, which happens to be the rudder stick, which is extremely difficult and scary to manoeuvre and to actually use for the first time round, I was pretty scared. But I don't really know why I was, because it turned out to be great, really. So basically, he got me on. He got me on the sailboat. I'd done a few manoeuvres and such, and I was getting a real big hand with it. I was like, wow, this is great, this is amazing. He got me to do a few turns and such, which is pretty scary once you lose control of the rudder, and then you find your sailboat almost tipping over one side on the port or starboard about 10 or 15 degrees or so, which is incredibly scary. The final thing which he learnt me to do is to tack, and to tack is essentially when you have to focus on a point behind you and turn your sailboat 180 degrees to that point. Now, this took me a good half an hour to get used to, because first, once you've got to tack yourself round, first you have to dodge out the boom, which is going to knock you out unconscious if you don't move out of the way properly. And then secondly, once you're in that position, your hands are right behind the rudder, because you've just switched round, you've had to move side to the other side of the sailboat which you're on, to try and get to the right position of forward sailing. And basically, while you're doing that, you have to sit yourself down and grab the rudder with your hands while manoeuvring forward, which is incredibly scary. And for the first 3 goes, I lost control of the rudder, which the whole idea was to not concentrate on the rudder, but concentrate on what's in front of you. And I ended up going around in a giant circle. Now that's the first tip when it comes to tacking, is to not concentrate on the rudder, just forget about it for a while and concentrate on what's happening forward, because you're probably going to end up smashing yourself into another sailboat, which I did not do, or end up going around in circles, which is more or less what I did. Sailing is a great experience, and I personally recommend it to everyone. Even if you're not a boat enthusiast, it's such a great feeling and a great sport, and especially when you're with someone else, it can be extremely competitive and fun. So yeah, that was my first sailing experience. I haven't been back since because of the expense, really, but if it was a lot cheaper, let's just say, then I would be going every weekend. Hopefully that's something which I can do more when I'm older, but as for now, of course, then unfortunately I can't. But for those of you who are willing to do it for the first time, I personally recommend it very much. Well guys, that's it for today's vlog. I will see you on the next.